The year was 1952, and the city of London was shrouded in a dense, eerie fog. The air was thick with smoke and soot, the result of years of industrialization and pollution. But what started as mere nuisance quickly turned into a deadly disaster that would go down in history as the Great London Smog. The smog descended upon the city like a thick, choking blanket, reducing visibility to mere feet and leaving many people struggling to breathe. Panic set in as hospitals became overcrowded with patients suffering from respiratory problems and other illnesses caused by the toxic air. Amid the chaos and confusion, families gathered in their homes, desperate for relief from the acrid air outside. But even indoors, the smog found a way to seep in, infiltrating every nook and corner. Massive smog events like this were known in London as pea-soupers because of how thick and slow-flowing they made the air. As the days passed, the death toll climbed higher and higher, with thousands of people succumbing to deadly smog. The city was brought to its knees, and the world watched in horror as the disaster unfolded. In the aftermath of the disaster, the city was forever changed. The government enacted new regulations and laws to address the issue of air pollution. And the tragedy served as a wake-up call to the world about the dangers of environmental pollution and the need for urgent action. Friends, smog tells us a story of how badly our air and the environment is polluted. Welcome to another video on environment. Today we are going to explore what is air pollution and which are the air pollutants and which are their types. So let us begin with answering first what is air pollution. Air pollution defined as to the presence of harmful substances like mixed particles or gases in the air at a concentration considered to be harmful to all living beings. Basically, it is the contamination of air by harmful gases, dust, and smoke. Air pollution also refers to any physical, chemical, or biological change in the air. It can be both indoor and outdoor air pollution. Air pollution caused by various reasons, including human activities such as burning fossil fuels, industrial processes, and transportation, as well as natural sources such as wildfires and volcanic eruptions. Soot, mold, pollens, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, ozone, and particulate matter are some examples of air pollutants. Again, it has been divided into primary and secondary air pollutants. Primary pollutants are pollutants that are emitted directly into the atmosphere from a specific source such as factory, power plant, or vehicle. Examples of primary pollutants are carbon monoxide, a toxic gas produced by incomplete combustion of fossil fuels such as gasoline and diesel. Sulfur dioxide, a gas produced by burning fossil fuels that contain sulfur such as coal and oil. Nitrogen oxide, gases produced by high temperature combustion such as in vehicle engines and power plants. Particulate matter (PM), tiny particles of solid or liquid matter that can be inhaled such as dust, smoke and soot. Volatile organic compounds (VOC), chemicals emitted by a variety of sources such as paints, solvents and gasoline. Lead, a toxic metal that was once widely used in gasoline and other products but has been largely phased out due to health concerns. Secondary pollutants are pollutants that are formed in the atmosphere through chemical reactions between primary pollutants and other substances, such as sunlight and atmospheric gases. These pollutants can be just as harmful as primary pollutants and are often more difficult to control. Ozone, a gas formed through the reaction of sunlight with nitrogen oxide and volatile organic compounds. Sulfuric acid, a compound formed through the reaction of sulfur dioxide with water vapor in the atmosphere. Nitric acid, a compound formed through the reaction of nitrogen dioxide with water vapor in the atmosphere. Particulate matter (PM) can also be formed through the reaction of primary pollutants with other substances in the atmosphere. There are a group of 6 air pollutants that are regulated by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, particulate matter, ozone, and lead are considered to be among the most harmful to human health and the environment. The classification of air pollutants is useful in understanding the sources, effect, and control measures associated with different types of pollutants. Based on the chemical composition of air pollutants, it can be classified as particulate and non-particulate pollutants. Particulate pollutants, dust, lead, smoke, soot, etc., are tiny particles of solid or liquid matter that can be inhaled and can cause serious health problems. Non-particulate pollutants include gaseous pollutants. These are pollutants that exist in the gaseous state at room temperature like SO2, CO and can be inhaled directly. Biological pollutants. These are pollutants that originate from living organisms such as mold, bacteria and viruses. Radionuclides. These are pollutants that emit ionizing radiation and can be harmful to human health. Now let us understand what is particulate. Particulates, also known as suspended particulate matter (SPM), are tiny particles of solid or liquid matter that are suspended in the air. SPM includes particles of different sizes ranging from coarse particle between 2.5 and 10 micrometers in diameter to fine particles less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter known as PM2.5. Sources of SPM include natural sources such as dust storms and volcanic eruption, as well as the human-made sources such as vehicle emissions, industrial processes, and construction and demolition activities. Exposure to SPM can have serious negative effects on human health, particularly on the respiratory and cardiovascular systems. SPM can cause or worsen respiratory and other cardiovascular diseases, including asthma, lung cancer, and heart disease. It can also contribute to reduced visibility, acid rain, and harm to crops and ecosystems. Now we will talk about the chemicals present in the air that can cause serious health problems. Hazardous air pollutants, HAPs, also known as air toxics, are a group of chemicals that are known or suspected to cause cancer and other serious health effects. There are 87 plus such pollutants identified by United States Environmental Protection Agency. These chemicals can be released into the air by a variety of sources, including factories, power plants, vehicles, and other industrial processes. The most common hazardous air pollutants emitted into the air can vary depending on the location and sources of emissions. However, some of the most common examples of HAPs include benzene. Benzene is a carcinogenic chemical that is commonly found in gasoline and is also emitted from industrial sources such as oil refineries and chemical plants. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a colorless gas that is used in manufacture of many consumer products and is also emitted from industrial sources. Mercury. Mercury is a neurotoxic metal that is emitted from coal-fired power plants and other industrial sources. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons (PAH) are a group of chemicals that are produced during the combustion of fossil fuels and other organic matter. They are found in vehicle exhaust and in emissions from industrial processes such as coke ovens and asphalt production. Lead. Lead is toxic metal that was once widely used in gasoline and other products. It is emitted from industrial sources such as lead smelters and battery manufacturing plants. Chlorine. Chlorine is a toxic gas that is used in manufacture of many consumer products and is also emitted from industrial sources such as chemical plants. Asbestos. Asbestos is a naturally occurring mineral that was once widely used in insulation and other building materials. It is carcinogenic substance that can be released into the air during the demolition or renovation of buildings. Depending on the scale at which air pollution is happening, it can also be divided into local, urban, regional, and global air pollution. Local pollution. Some pollutants, by virtue of their source or of having a very short atmospheric lifetime, are only encountered in appreciable concentration close to where they are emitted. Poorly controlled household and neighborhood sources, often involving the burning of biomass fuels, stubble, cause serious local pollution, mostly in less developed countries. Urban scale. Pollutants originating from urban sources like nitrogen oxide and carbon monoxide emitted by vehicles are usually found in high concentration within cities but decrease significantly in nearby rural areas. These pollutants have relatively short atmospheric lifetimes, typically lasting only a few hours. As a result, their concentration in the distant background atmosphere are usually very low, except for carbon monoxide, which persists for a longer duration. Regional scale. Fine particles typically less than 2.5 micrometer in diameter, excluding ultrafine particles, along with certain gaseous pollutants like ozone, have atmospheric lifetimes ranging from days to weeks. This extended lifespan allows them to be transported over regional distances. Pollutants such as sulfate particles and ozone can travel thousands of kilometers through a process called long range transport, even crossing national borders in the process. Hemispheric and global scale. Certain pollutants, particularly those linked to greenhouse warming effects such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane, have long atmospheric lifetime spanning years. As a result, they can disperse across an entire hemisphere and eventually become distributed globally. These pollutants have potential to contribute to climate change on a global scale due to their extended presence in the atmosphere. Friends, stay tuned for the next part of this video on air pollution, in which we will talk about the sources of air pollution, its effect on our health, and how to prevent and control air pollution. I hope you like this video. If yes, don't forget to leave us like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. See you in the next video really very soon.